Memory in the retirement space, it's a touchy subject. So let's talk about that. Earlier today, I made a video, and there's a reason I'm wearing the hat, and it has to do with that. I made what I thought was going to be an Erma Bombeck kind of video about the fact that I took a shower earlier today, put on my pink bathrobe afterwards, came and sat at my desk as is my usual habit, did some work on my Substack, and then I was going to later go back and blow dry my hair because I knew I was going to record a podcast tonight. As it turns out, I completely forgot to wash my hair. What a bozo thing that is, right? I went to the bathroom and I looked at my hair and I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" And for a while, I thought it was just that I forgot to wash the soap out. And then it turned out I just never even put soap in my hair. But here's what I know. For me to produce and publish a video laughing at the loss of memory, even though it was, look, the only reason I lost my memory, let me go back and clarify for a little bit. The reason I lost the memory or I forgot to shampoo my hair had nothing to do with dementia and had everything to do with the 47 different thoughts going on in my head preparing for the podcast that I was going to record tonight. That's all it was. I've done that before. I have a memory of doing that in New York City when I was preparing for a record deal with Warner Brothers. And I had an interview with Billboard magazine about the talent I was managing, and I had a lot going on in my mind, and I completely forgot to wash my hair. I mean, who hasn't ever done that? But here's the thing. I did do the video. I did do the laughing, funny part about, oh my God, I forgot to wash my hair, and this is what it looks like unwashed. There were two things I learned out of that, and I want to share that with everybody. What I learned specifically is there's just some things you don't talk about in the retirement space, and one of them is memory. That hits too close to home. There are way too many people who are wanting to know, who are concerned for themselves or people they love about dementia. Memory is just, no, I'm just, I'm glad you get it, Mom's a word, but we can't play around with that subject. And I learned that tonight. I learned that the hard way. I did the video and I put it up on YouTube. I even put it up on Substack. And what I noticed was people were dropping off in the first 3 seconds. They did not want to hear about dirty hair, and they did not want to hear about a memory malfunction. And what I'm trying to say to all of you, hey folks, is pay attention to what's working and not working with your audience. It doesn't mean that I didn't have a funny chuckle at myself for forgetting to put shampoo in my hair. I mean, my God, I had a towel wrapped around my head and everything. It was wet. I just didn't add the necessary ingredient to wash it. And what it ended up doing is giving me a funny ha-ha. And I did. I laughed my ass off about it for about 3 or 4 hours. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot to put shampoo. See how stringy it is? I've got to go back and take a shower tonight and wash my hair because it needs to be washing. Now, I'm not somebody who believes in all the gimmicks that the marketing gurus put out there about you must wash your hair every day. I don't believe in all of that, but that's not the subject of this video. The subject is we have to be able to laugh at these kind of things, but for people who are growing their Substack, you really need to pay attention and know who your audience is. I have a business partner, kind of silent business partner, and we got into a fight because they wanted to make a decision about the video based on raw data. And I was over here in my corner swinging it out, man. I was saying, I know women and what they think about hair. And I know that in the retirement space, dementia is something you don't mess around with. Well, I won. I took the video down because the last thing I want to do is offend anybody. The only thing I want to do is just love everybody and talk about unique and different ways of considering being a retired person. I don't want to put anybody in a box about anything. And it turned out that video was kind of putting people in boxes. So, that's really what happened to me on this silly, crazy Monday. Nothing too crazy, actually, but yet it offended some people, let's just put it that way. And no, I'm not somebody who generally does something to appease just a handful. That's not something I typically do. However, it behooves me to be aware of people walking a path of life that's completely different than mine. They may be 70 years old, and they may be having a husband or a wife or a partner or a family member fighting with dementia. So, just for that reason right there alone, I need to pay attention. And this is a note to me. See, all the fingers are pointing back to me. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing because what I really want to do is help people become the best part of themselves at this stage of life. I really don't want to offend anybody. Okay, so I just really came in here to remind my fellow writers to pay attention to what clicks and what doesn't click, and know who you're talking to, know who you're writing for. It's one thing for you to put your words together because it's a strong feeling that you have and a story you want to share, but it's another thing entirely to put a story together that has the potential to be offensive. You want to wake up people for sure. You want to use your words to wake up people, but let's find a way to wake up people that encourages self-reflection, not pull out the boxing gloves and start punching people out. We don't want to do that. We want to love people right where they are with the words that we have in the moment, right? Anyway, I really don't have anything else to add. I'm looking at myself thinking, oh my God, I look so tired. Mm. But this is part of me becoming a night owl. I don't know if you saw my latest note. My body rhythms have changed drastically. I used to create every day from the minute I woke up till about 3 o'clock every day. Now I wake up and I spend most of the day lollygagging and hoeing and humming and waiting for my creative energy to come online, which is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which means, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to reverse this phone and show you that I'm going to get to work on. I don't think I can reverse this. I'm going to start painting tonight and spend some time in the art studio and work on this big painting. Plus, I have a commission that I should have delivered 2 or 3 months ago. So I've got to get to work on that. I see no questions or comments or responses. Remember, the whole point of me popping in here was to say, hey, wash your hair. Don't be like me and forget to wash your hair. And the other one is be mindful. Keep at your forefront exactly who you're writing to. I have one person in mind every time I write, and she knows who she is. And it has helped tremendously to shape my writing to know exactly who I'm talking to. And if you're considering growing and building your Substack, I would ask you to consider doing the same thing with your notes. Notes that give advice or notes that are not generally read, but notes that allow the reader to see a piece of themselves inside the story of the note. Those are the notes that get told and get repeated. For example, I have a note that has now hit 15,000 engagements. It's upwards to 16,000 as I'm recording this. I think it has something like 585 responses, comments to it. And it's because people told me over and over they could see themselves in the words that I wrote. That's gold. That's something you can take to the bank as a writer. But it's also something I feel responsible to that I really want to make sure I remember that in the next article and the next article. Because those people are wanting what I'm producing. And there's absolutely nothing better in the world to know there's somebody on the other side of the computer who's actually reading what you write because they want to, not because an algorithm told them to, but because they sought you out and they found it and they want to. I promise you there is just nothing better than that. So that's what I would say tonight is when you write your notes, think about who you're really writing it for and organize your words in your notes so that they can see themselves in what your subject is. If you're just spewing out advice, people are going to just roll right past it. Especially my age group, we're kind of all, we're sick of advice. We don't need any more advice. Anyway, I'm sitting here giving advice, telling you we don't need any more advice. But I wanted to leave you guys with something, especially those of you who have gathered here who are writers. I really want you to understand that the Substack game is a long game. There's no sprint in this. There's a big, long run in this. But you will make it and you can make it if you make what you write about your reader, not about yourself. My reader benefits from me using me as an example of the subject I write, but I am not the subject. And there's a big difference in that. Okay, I prattled on longer than I planned to. I really want to go get some painting done. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Thank you of being a part of my mishap, my hair mishap. Oh, yeah, it's under there. See, I forgot to wash it. Isn't that silly? Anyway, such is the day in a 70-year-old crazy, grumpy former cat lady, because I don't have a cat anymore. I love you guys. Thank you so very much for being a part of this with me. Catch you later. Later, gator.